Hi guys, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name is Tiana and I'm the maker behind Also Stitched, and today we have Knitting Podcast episode 7. I have one finished object, 3 whips and one small acquisition with some future plans that I would like to share today. So my first finished object for this week is Oslo Hat by PetiteKnit. I did this Oslo Hat in Knitting for Olive Merino and Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in colorway Dusty Rose. I talked about this colorway last week, so I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. This is not Dusty Rose, this is more like mauve to me, and in the end I am happy with the finished object, but I'm not quite sure if this color will suit me. I'm not gonna pull it out all the way just because I have glasses and it can't fit over glasses, but this is the color on me and I'm not 100% sure if it's a nice color on me, but I'm gonna keep it. It is nice pinkish mauvish color, and if I don't use it, maybe my daughter will use it and it should be fine. I did some modifications to this pattern because I did it on a 3.5 mil needle, and as with any Oslo hat, you are playing yarn chicken with mohair because there's only 200, I think 10 meters of mohair, while for the merino I think you have 250 in 50-gram ball. But the modification I did, I shortened the double folded brim. So she instructs you to knit to a certain length, and I have shortened that for only 3 centimeters, which is 1.5 centimeters once you sew together the top part with the cast on edge, so that is only 3 centimeters shorter. And then this part, before you do the German short row to turn your work, I have knitted this whole part without mohair. So this was the part where I have saved some mohair. I don't know, it's around 7 or 8 rounds, not a lot, but at least I saved some. When it comes to the body of the head, I've also shortened this just because I was scared that I was playing yarn chicken, which I didn't in the end. I could have easily add maybe 3 or 4 rounds to the length, but no matter all of that, this head fits me perfectly. It is just the perfect fit for my head. Even though I was scared I was playing yarn chicken, it is all good. I don't mind the way it looks and it is just the perfect fit. Also, head is really nice pattern to work just because it is very mindless, it is an easy start, and I really enjoy process of knitting these hats. Last time I mentioned that I didn't do provisional cast on like many people do, just because I don't have issues with knitting with a cast on edge, and I actually never did provisional cast on because I don't know how to do it. I have never done provisional cast on, and now I'm thinking that this hat would be the perfect way to learn it just for some other future projects. So I'm thinking that my next Oslo hat, I might actually try the provisional cast on just to learn it on such a basic hat and see if it's worth the hype or worth the fuss, because I know a lot of people say that it is more fussy than just knitting to a cast on edge, but I might be wrong, and I do want to try it just to learn it, because for me knitting is all about learning new techniques, learning new processes, and maybe finding a better ways to do things. So I'm only left with 5 grams of knitting for Olive Merino, and yeah, I could have used that, but in the end you never know how much you need for the decrease part, and I am better safe than sorry with some leftovers than running out of the yarn and having to frog the project back. And when it comes to mohair, I'm only left with 2 grams of mohair. So this is only 18 meters left, which is a lot actually, while this is only 25 meters. So yeah, I could have made a bit more progress, but I'm still fine because the hat fits perfectly. For the part where I have knit without mohair, I didn't even cut the mohair, I just carried the yarn on and it's inside the hat and it really doesn't matter. So if there is something that you want to do, save some yarn, just just knit that part without mohair and save the mohair if you are playing yarn chicken. But I feel like everyone who is doing this with a mohair is playing yarn chicken, so this is another way to avoid that. So yeah, this is my one and only finished object for this week. Another Oslo hat just going in my stash. This is not something that I will be using very often because in Sydney, Australia, we don't have a lot of cold weather for hats like this, but I'm happy to have it in stash when we travel to Europe to visit our family or just for holidays. Next we have Ivy sweater that I have finished the body and I have blocked it. I was right when I said that this is gonna dry for a very long time, and it did. It was drying for over 4 days. We had a bit cold weather here in Sydney during those past 4 days, and it was a bit humid. It was rainy, and this literally took 4 days, and I didn't dry it on a blocking mat just because I wasn't blocking it. I was laying it on my mesh dryer, which I usually use for my knitted garments, and I had to flip it 4 times. First, I need to flip it just the way it was drying to speed up the process on the bottom, and then after 2 days I realized that it is very wet on the inside because this is so thick, and it's also cotton chain, so that cotton was holding on for the water, and probably alpaca also. So inside it was still very wet compared to the outside where it was dry, and surprisingly sleeve was the hardest part to dry. I don't know why, what's the science behind it, but yeah, sleeve took very long time, so I actually flipped it inside out and then also had to do double flip each day. I was flipping again because it really took 4 days for it to dry, and during those 4 days I was like nervous, I need to work on something, and yes, I did cast it on a couple of projects just because I needed something to work on, but we'll talk about this first. So what I ended up with blocking? Nothing. It didn't shrink like she mentioned. It's gonna shrink 3 to 4 centimeters in the length. No, it didn't. I actually have a footage of me wearing it before and after blocking, and nothing happened. Even my sleeve is still too long, and yes, I have decided I will be frogging a whole 1 decrease repeat just because it is too long, and once I have put it on I have realized that I don't like the look of it. I prefer bracelet length sleeves just for this garment because the way this garment fits me, I really do prefer the bracelet length. So I will be frogging from this stitch marker to this stitch marker. So in the pattern she is instructing you to, for my size, to do 5 decreases every 7 centimeters, and I did 8 decreases because even 5 was running short on me, and my 8 decrease has fallen on the last round before the bind off. So this is my 8 decrease and this is my 7 decrease, and I will be taking off this whole section all the way until my 7th decrease, and I will leave my 7th decrease, and I will just bind off in pattern, quick and easy. I just hope that this will be an easy frog because this yarn can stick to itself, so we'll see how that will go. So I have only a part of frogging to do. The body is not curling, even the neckline is not curling after blocking. I'm really happy with how this looks and fits. It is a bit wider on my body at the bottom. I would love it to cinch a bit more, but I will have a lot of yarn left over. I think I'm gonna have maybe full skein and a half left over, so if I want to do any modifications down the road I can easily do that. So the neckline is still looking really nice, it's not curling, and all I have to do is finish second sleeve, which is gonna be easy, and I think by the next knitting podcast next week I will definitely do that. I don't need a week to finish this sleeve because this is on 5mm needles, I forgot, and it's really knitting very fast and it's really enjoyable knit. I don't remember, I was watching someone working on this yarn and was mentioning how they don't enjoy working with this yarn because it's different. I don't know how to explain, but for me it's really enjoyable knit. I don't know, working it on a C-knit needles, on a bamboo needles, it's really fun, and I had fun creating this. So yeah, that one sleeve is gonna be done this week and I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. I don't think I will be able to block it again before the next video just because it's gonna take another 4 days, so blocking will come after. I also forgot to mention I haven't blocked this one yet, so yeah, I also will do that probably by the next podcast, but it still looks really good without blocking, but I will block it for sure. So yeah, that is my update on Ivy sweater by PetiteKnit. I'm making this in Isager Soft yarn, and it is a chain blown yarn. The chain is cotton, which is 44%, and the rest is alpaca, which is just amazing. And I have to admit one thing, as much as I've been raving about this yarn, saying how it is really nice and soft and I don't have any prickling factor, when I was trying this on before blocking, I think I was trying this twice, and for the rest of the day my neck and chest was itchy, even though I was trying it on a t-shirt. So we'll see how I will go with that, because with wear over the longer period, maybe I'll get sensitive even to this yarn. We'll see. I'm just feeling, guys, that my sensitive skin won't be able to handle any fuzzy mohair, fluffy alpaca yarn. I don't know. I'm still in the process of learning what my body likes, what can I wear or not, and I feel like this year will be the biggest discovery year for me. What will I be wearing and what will I be knitting for the future? Because if I cannot wear these things, and what's the point of knitting them? I just need to stick to merino and sock yarn and things like that that my body can handle. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes this year. I'm full of fluff now after holding all of these things, but oh well. So my next work in progress are another vanilla socks by Crazy Sock Lady. I just wanted something simple because I want this yarn to speak on its own. This is Arcane Fiber Works yarn. It is a Canadian hand dyer and his yarns are just so beautiful. This colorway is called Headed Out to Sea and it is just amazing. Look at this. These are socks for my husband and the colorway is just perfection. I love how beautiful they are, how good the yarn transition it is. The color change is very short, it's happening very often and it is so engaging and fun to work with this. This yarn is silky soft and smooth, and I'm not sure if you can tell, I have split the skein in two halves so that I can knit two socks at the same time. I prefer knitting two socks at the same time, and I can tell that this sock is pulling more wide, unlike this sock. That is just what I have observed, and even when I took photo I can tell, especially here and here on the bottom, more white parts are pulling for one sock rather than the other, and I'm not too fussed about it. It is hand dyed yarn and this is something that no one can influence and I'm just not too bothered about it. This colorway is still so beautiful that it can be very much business professional. My husband works in IT, but his position is very much in business IT, so he needs to wear like a business attire. It's not casual, let's just say it's not casual, it's more business appropriate attire for his workplace, and I think he would be able to easily wear this. He even said like, is this gonna be like my crazy sock day? I'm like, seriously, this is crazy for you, this is subtle, this is very business appropriate and subtle for me. I don't know why he called it crazy, but oh well. This is how I track my rows so that I don't have to count. Each stitch marker is 10 rows and this is helping me to count. I'm done with the body of the leg, so I did 20 rounds of the cuff and 60 rounds on the leg, and now I need to do heel flap. This yarn is so nice, guys. I know I said that I don't want to wear expensive yarns on my feet just because I want to find more budget-friendly yarns, and I still do. I still think that there are some budget-friendly yarns that I could wear on my sensitive feet, but I'm honestly scared that I won't be able and that my last resort will be some bougie yarns for some bougie socks, because why not? I know I said I would wouldn't, but I think I'm changing my mind because it's not just the wear on your feet, it also comes down to the pleasure of knitting. I am a process knitter, so for me the process of working on the yarn is also what matters, and I do see myself buying more of this yarn, and not just from Arcane Fiber Works. I see the hype of using some hand-dyed yarns, and I would definitely continue buying more hand-dyed yarns for socks and exploring and playing with different colors and things like that. So yeah, I truly enjoy working with this yarn, and I do recommend this yarn brand. I paid only 34 Australian dollars for this yarn, which is not too bad, with free shipping from Canada. Amazing. Let me just show you how I store my sock yarn, because I made this yarn koozie last year with some sock yarn leftovers. This is patterned by Nitty Natty, and this one exactly is for 100 gram skein, but I split the skein in half, so I'm using 50 gram. Even though I do have a pattern for 20 and 50 gram yarn koozie, I just didn't have enough yarn to make it, so I'm just using the 50 gram, and you can easily just fold it in half and have the yarn in. It just really keeps your yarn nice and neat, because I am a center puller and this yarn cake will start collapsing over time, and this just really keeps everything nice and tidy without getting a mess or tangled. So yeah, I do recommend these yarn koozies. So yeah, I'm just experimenting with the stitch count for my husband. I did start 64 stitch count because he has a very skinny leg around the ankle, and that's what was mattering for me here. When it comes to heel flap, I might do it a bit longer and then even bigger gusset, because I think for the foot I will go to maybe 72. I will have to test, because his feet is wider than his top leg is. So I'm just still trying to find the perfect recipe for his socks, and I don't mind frogging and redoing things to find the perfect recipe for my husband's socks. So yeah, this is my second whip, just the plain vanilla socks by Crazy Sock Lady. Alright, so my third whip was really unplanned. Last year I've been knitting a lot for charity, and the purpose of me knitting for charity was just to destash my yarn. I have a lot of acrylic yarn, cotton yarn that I bought for my business. In case you don't know, I have a crochet business, and I do have a separate crochet channel which is linked down below, where I share my crochet plushies and I sell them on my website, markets and conventions and things like that. So I do have a lot of other yarns in my stash, and I'm trying to destash, not completely, at least lower my stash. And I had a couple of, let's call it, impulse purchases with no plans, and now I don't know what to do with these yarns, and I'm trying to get rid of them. And since last year I've been knitting for charity. I've knitted 3 blankets and 40 beanies. I decided I want to destash another box and get rid of at least one box. I'll show you in a second. And I have started another blanket. Let's talk about the box first. So I have 5 boxes like this in my stash. 2 of them are in this same colorway, 2 of them are in a different colorway, and 5th is completely different. So when I look at these colors, I'm like, what am I gonna do with it? I have 2 boxes of this and I have nowhere to use them. And just looking into this box and the colors that are matched in this box, I like what this looks like, but these colors are too busy for me to do anything for myself. So I have decided to make another Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose using exactly these colors. And I'm not even fast to match them or to do anything that requires thinking, because I just can't do it. I can't visual things. So I'm doing triangles in, this is 1 square, 1 triangle, 1 triangle, this is gonna be 1 square, This is gonna be one square and this is gonna be one square. This is my second box. The box I'm using is already half used and there were already some grams missing in those balls, so I might dip into this one. I'm hoping not, but I might. But I am happy because I will be able to use this whole box and make sweet shop blanket with little leftovers. And if you're wondering what is this, this is just the 4-season cotton 10 ply. It is from Spotlight. It has 8 80-gram balls and that is it. That is all. I bought this 2 years ago and I was looking for a way to get rid of this yarn, and I'm really glad that this is gonna be a charity blanket. That's gonna be my 4th charity blanket and that's gonna be last for this year. So I'm doing all this for Lisa, for her channel. She's Coco's Crochet channel. She's also here in Sydney and every year she organizes charity donations for the crafters. You can crochet, you can knit, you can do whatever you want, and this year we are donating to children's charity, and that's why I've been having so much fun because I've been making so many beautiful colorful beanies and blankets, and I have decided I still have time before I meet her. I'm hoping to meet her somewhere in March. She has a busy market coming in early March, so I'm hoping to meet her mid or late March and donate everything in person to her so she can take it to the charity. So this is definitely my last blanket for the charity. I might make a couple of more beanies. We'll see if I will have time because I'm also preparing for one of my biggest conventions this year. But this is what I have so far and it is looking great. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be 4, so I'm gonna add a 4th square here and this is just gonna grow 6 squares upwards. You know what I mean. So technically this is gonna be the bottom part. And what I'm doing, my last square is gonna be these colors together. So those 2 colors are gonna go this way, and after that I will just alternate the colors because I cannot think of other way to jumble these colors. I don't know. So this square is gonna go on top of this and then I will be shifting everything just by one. And on the 3rd round, this square is gonna go over here, and that is just the easiest way for me to not think what I'm gonna do with squares and just enjoy making them. Last time when I was making this blanket, it took me less than 24 days because my goal was to make 1 square a day. 1 square takes me around 1.5 to 2 hours, and that is manageable at the moment, but as we are getting into some busy season it might not. So my goal is to make at least 1 triangle a day, so that is 48 days and that is just before March, and I will be able to finish and block this blanket before I meet Lisa. And I'm happy. That's gonna be 1 box out of my stash and 1 perfect beautiful cotton blanket. Let me tell you, even though this is 10 ply, this is so nice and soft. The garter stitch just makes the perfect blankets and they are so nice and soft. And I also washed all of my other blankets for charity. I didn't block them because I didn't feel the need, but I washed them. They were all acrylic and I washed them in the washing machine and then I half dried them in the dryer, and they just ended up being so soft and so nice that I'm looking forward to make more blankets like this. I love making this. This is so fun. This is so enjoyable. This is so mindless and it is just quick and perfect, and I do see myself making more of this and maybe making, I already said I'm probably gonna make the quilt one, the quilt version with that pattern, but I just needed something mindless where I don't have to choose colors, patterns or anything like that, and this is just perfection. I won't be putting border around this because that would require me to buy yarn, and that's not the purpose of this Destash. I want a Destash without buying yarn to finish the projects, and I feel like I won't need a border on this, and I think it's gonna be perfect. This is really nice yarn. This is just a basic 10 ply cotton, but it is really nice and soft, and the garter stitch is making it really nice, squishy and beautiful. Again, I'm modifying this pattern just like I did with my acrylic sweet shop blanket that I already did for charity, just because this is 10 ply and the pattern calls for 8 ply. My acrylic pattern I did on 8mm needles, just because even though it is 10 ply, same as this is a bit thinner than acrylic 10 ply. So I'm doing this on 5mm needles, and I have completely different stitch count because I wanted the squares to be the same size as Laura did. I'm not sure, did I mention that this pattern is by Laura Penrose? If not, it is. So I wanted the squares to be the same size as hers, which is around 14 centimeters. This is 14 centimeters, just to achieve the size of the baby blanket. And my stitch count is different, and it's actually less stitches, so it's knitting faster. And yeah, that's it. I really love this. I see myself making so many more blankets like this, and I do recommend this pattern a lot. So yeah, that was all when it comes to my whips and finished objects. I have a small acquisition, and I was looking into some yarns on Wool Warehouse. Actually, I wasn't, that's a lie. I was looking for reviews on Drops Fable after I made my hibernal socks, because I'm not 100% happy with how itchy that yarn is, and I was looking some reviews on Reddit, and someone suggested that Drops Nord is softer than Drops Fable, and I decided I need to try it, I guess immediately, because I already have the yarn. Yarn arrived yesterday. I ordered, for my knitting purpose, I ordered only this, and I ordered some different yarns for my crochet business because I also wanted to try something different. So this is Drops Nord. It is their blend of 45% alpaca, 30% polyamide, and 25% wool. Each ball is 50 grams or 170 meters, and it is just a sock yarn with a bit more alpaca content compared to the Drops Fable, which is 100% wool. That's why it's more scratchier. This one is definitely softer. I am curious to see how this will work on my feet. That's why I went with some basic color, nothing special really, because I'm still trying to discover which colors will suit my wardrobe and things like that. I'm gonna make Cider House socks by Summerlee, but I'm gonna make it without that crazy colorful top. I'm just gonna use these socks for the plain part when there is some cabling happening on. It's gonna be very similar actually to the hibernal sock. It's just a different pattern, the different cable. I haven't read through the pattern, so I'm not sure if it's a real cable or it's again mock cable. We'll see, but it looks very basic and very feminine, and I thought that it will suit this color. So that is just part of my future plans. Like I said, I'm in my sock era, and this year I will be knitting a lot of socks. Speaking of Destash and sock knitting, I found this yarn in my stash. This is some old swatch I did. It is very badly and poorly made swatch, but oh well. I just wanted to see how this yarn looks, and it looks really beautiful. I like the way the colors are pulling. This is just the yarn from Spotlight. It is 4 Season Brighton. It is cotton blend prints, 8 ply. It is 50% cotton and 50% acrylic in a 50-gram ball. You get 95 meters, which is actually very low meterage. So I was thinking, what should I do with this? Because I have 2 balls, and for some reason both balls are used, and I don't remember what for. I think I might have done some children bows for my market, something like that. So each ball has exactly 40 grams, and if I did my math correctly, this should give me DK vanilla socks, but short version. I might be playing yarn chicken, but again, this is DK, so I'm not too fast if I have to frog. I want this yarn out of my stash, and I feel having a cotton acrylic socks would work amazing. I don't know, we'll see. This colorway is called Natural Mix, in case you are are wondering, because I do think that these colors are really pulling nicely, and this might be a good cotton sock. I know it's not going to be very summer socks because it's DK, but I don't mind. This can be easily transitioned into autumn and spring. So the point is destashing. I want this out of my stash, and I'm gonna need DK's vanilla socks for me, just the short version, just so that I can move it out of my way. And that's it. So many socks are coming. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been definitely in my sock era. All I'm thinking about is socks. I'm thinking what yarn I'm gonna buy. I'm excited for the yarn show that is happening in Canberra at the beginning of the March. I will be definitely visiting, buying more yarn, probably sock yarn, because there will be so many amazing Australian hand dyers over there, and I don't see myself traveling to Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show, whatever it's called. It's really too far away for me to travel down there and taking kids with me or whatever. So Canberra is the closest yarn show at the moment. I think there was another one in Vyong, I don't know how to pronounce that. It is up north of Sydney. I might visit that one this year at some point, we'll see, but I'm looking forward to Canberra. Canberra is only 2.5 hours away from Sydney, so we will take it as a day trip and I will do some yarn shopping. Of course, I will take you along because I do plan on filming there. Not a lot because I'm very shy in the public, but I will grab some snippets of the stall holders and their yarns, and I will buy a lot of yarn, so I will share all of that with you. And that is all when it comes to this week's knitting podcast. Nothing has caught my eye. I have nothing else to report. With all of that, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy knitting!